Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Robert, and today I'm gonna discuss Everdell, and specifically if it's a worthwhile purchase for the base game only using the Everdell Unrigged variant. So Everdell Unrigged is a fan-made variant that takes the solo variant, the Rugged solo variant that comes in the Everdell base game box, and it iterates on its ideas. Some would even say it improves upon them. So I'm gonna discuss that, but for those that are new to Everdell, I'm gonna give you a bit of a quick overview of what this game is about. So this is a tableau builder and worker placement game where you compete to have the highest score at the end. Okay, so if you don't like, well, there is a win and loss condition. You have to have the highest score. So it's not just beat your own score, but yeah. So if you don't like those types of games, I don't know that this will change your mind, but yeah. So you have to win by getting the highest score, and you're gonna build a city. Okay, that's gonna be your tableau, and it's gonna have 15 or more cards at the end of the game. Okay. And one interesting thing that this game does is that you have your hand of cards that you manage, right? But there's also this meadow where you can play cards directly from it as if they were in your hand. Okay, so that really opens up the decision space in a very interesting way. But it also makes it very competitive because your opponents, when you have a turn, you can only take one action. So you can either play a card or place a worker, basically. You're gonna have all of these options here, but you have to pick very carefully which, when you decide to play cards from the meadow, which ones you want to play, because your opponents on their turn are gonna have a chance to also play cards from the meadow as well as their hand. So there's some competition for cards that rotate from the meadow that are refreshed from the deck. Okay. There's also the worker placement element, okay, and there's the various fixed worker spaces, but there's also when you set up, there's this deck of worker spaces that vary per game, so that's some replayability. Okay. And one other interesting thing that this game does is that it has these variable goals at the end of the game, okay, that players, if you have certain cards that on your city, you can achieve these goals at the end of the game, okay? So this also adds some replayability, all right? There's 4 types of resources with different types of scarcity, okay? There's also one other cool thing that this game does, and it's the fact that you can play critter cards for free by basically housing them in one of your locations. So there's 2 types of cards. There's constructions, and then there's critters, right? All of them have their own resource cost, right? But for example, the king over here, right? I was able to play him for free instead of paying his 6 berry cost. You can play it. If I play castle construction first, you put this little door token on it, and you play that specific card for free, right? So certain buildings will allow you to play certain critters for free, all right? And just put a little door token on it, and you're good to go, right? So you get to do it only once per building. So that's a really cool mechanic, and it really has you observing for what type of critters you can play for free and whatnot. But there is a hard limit of 15 cards on your city, so you also have to think of which cards you're gonna play, because if the amount of cards that you wanted to play from your city was unlimited, you could just go crazy. But because of that hard 15 card limitation, with some exceptions, there are certain cards that don't count towards the limit, but yeah, so you have to pick carefully of how you're gonna construct your city to get the highest score. Okay, and last thing, so there's seasons, right? So which are basically turns. So you start in winter and you end in autumn, and you only start with 2 workers, and you end up with 6. So by the last round on autumn, you're gonna have so many workers, so many cards in your hand, and there's also cards that add extra worker spaces. So there's gonna be all of these combos that you can pull off, and it's pretty insane, right? So the game, solo mode or not, is amazing. Okay, art spectacular too. So now for the solo mode though, okay. Now, the solo mode that is included in the box is a bit contentious, okay, because Rugged, the mode that is in the box, which, by the way, disclaimer, when I bought this game, I knew that I wasn't gonna play the built-in base game box Rugward variant, because I heard that it's really punishing and it really makes you play very differently from how normal Everdell plays, right? In Everdell, you're gonna have consecutive turns where you play card after card after card, and it feels really cool, all right? Now, Rugward, the base set rules Rugward, it punishes you for playing cards and pulling off cool combos, because you're gonna be playing card after card, but then Rugward cheats and it just plays a card after you play a card, and it can feel kind of unfair. So Rugward will pile up cards for its city like crazy, right? And they don't have a limit really for their city. Their city doesn't have a 15 card limit, right? So of course bots tend to have ways of cheating typically in games, but that one for folks felt particularly brutal. Now for Unrigged, it takes some of those ideas and evolves on them, and I just want to share that since I bought this game and only for the Unrigged variant, I have consistently pulled it out every year, and I've been having a blast. I think it's a great solitaire variant because it allows me to focus on my puzzle and it keeps the maintenance of the AI very low, okay? But it takes some of those Rugward ideas and it just tries to make them feel a bit more fair. So one key thing that Unrigged does is that rather than playing a card every time you play a card, what it does is it only plays a couple cards depending on the difficulty level you pick. It'll play a certain amount of cards at the end of each season, and every time you place a worker, it'll also play a card. But it also cheats a bit because remember, you typically on your turn you can only either place a worker or play a card. But the Unrigged variant, when you place a worker, the AI both places a worker and plays a card. Okay, so you get a 2-for-1 action every time you place a worker. Okay, so it cheats a bit, but it's not as punishing. It's not as punishing as Rugward for sure. And the maintenance, it really, well, number one, the variant and Everdell is a pretty relatively quick to learn game for sure already. The variant is only 1 page long, so that's amazing already. Okay, it only uses the D8, right? That comes with the base box, right? And now Unrigged also, all you do is every time you place a worker, that's the only time that you have to. Every time you place a worker, and at the end of each season. Okay, so yeah, every time you place a worker, you just roll a die. All right, and a card from the meadow, in this case number 7, this one will be played, right? And there's a little very handy reference for what the die results should be, okay? And yeah, so every time you place a worker, the AI will first deploy one of its workers, right? So you refer to 1 through 7, in this case it will be this, right? And it'll also, you roll again and you play a card, in this case number 8, right? And that's really it. And through that, and some cards being played at the end of each season, okay, when the bot transitions to the season, you can choose a difficulty level. By the way, there's different difficulty levels, and at the normal difficulty level, at the end of each season, the bot will get 2 cards from the battle. But it also cheats in other ways. So it won't require it to deploy a worker to gain these standard goals. Okay, so these standard goals at the end of each season, if it has enough cards to gain these standard goals, it'll just gain them without placing workers. So that's one little way in which it cheats. And also at the end of the game, if there's any special goals that you didn't achieve, it'll just straight up pick them up and they'll have a 4-point value. Okay, and the bot scores differently. Okay, but yeah, so it's very, very, very simple. Okay, and it's just one of those wonderful solo variants that allow you to just focus on your puzzle. Okay, and there's a reason why this game it's within the top 100. Okay, it's very popular, and I just it's just one of those cases where it does resonate with me. Sometimes popular games don't resonate. Very few exceptions, very few cases, but sometimes popular games, there's a few here and there that haven't resonated with me. This one is amazing. I love the tableau building. I love the combos. I love the tight resources, the worker placement, the card play. I adore it. The components are gorgeous. The art is gorgeous. It's adorable. It's really cool. One thing I don't like is the tree, though. I think it's a bit fiddly, so I just use this table. I just put the tree element away, and I just use this, and that's it. Oh, and this is just a little reminder card I made for the seasons, okay? So that I know what I'm supposed to do after each season, since I'm getting rid of, since I got rid of the tree. But yeah, so this is a wonderful game, and I think it's 100%, in my opinion, I think it's 100% worth it with that fan-made solo variant with Unrigged, okay? Now, I know that there's also Mistwood, okay? I do want to get it at some point, but with the simplicity of this variant, it's a bit tough. And also considering the price of Mistwood, it's a bit of a tough sell. I think I'm gonna have to wait for a discount. I am a bit shocked, by the way. I just want to do a little aside here at the pricing of some of this Everdell material. It's kind of it's kind of up there. It's a bit outrageously priced because the Mistwood variant is as much as the base game, and it's only a couple boards, a few tokens, and a handful of cards. I find it a bit strange, compared to other, similar products. So how up there it is in price. It kind of it gave me some like Games Workshop vibes. I'm not gonna lie to you, but yeah, I mean, they seem to be making the folks over at Starling Games are making a killing with this game. I mean, they keep pumping out edition after edition and expansion after expansion, and people just eat it up. I can see why. I love the core mechanics of this. They're wonderful. It's just very nice. I don't think I want to get more expansions, because this is a very tight experience, and I don't want to bloat it. I do believe that if I bought the Mistwood expansion, it would fit in the box. So that's pretty much the only reason why I'm even contemplating buying it. I've heard amazing things about that bot, so definitely I'm very intrigued by that bot, and I want to try it out at some point. But yeah, I can't justify the full price right now, but I'll definitely pick it up at some point. But yeah, so those were my thoughts on the Unrigged variant for Everdell folks. I do think that this is a worthwhile purchase, 100%. Just base game, print out that bod, and you're gonna have an amazing time. You're gonna be able to focus on your own puzzle. Okay. And now let me know what you think about the bod that's included in the box. I know that some people enjoy it. Let me know what you think about the expansions. What are your favorites? And also, I saw about Far Shore, my little Everdell. There's just so many products in this line. If you have any favorites, I really would love to know what you think about this product line. It's very interesting and very vast. Okay. But yeah, so let me know in the comment section, and if you enjoyed this content, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.